Auburn Blitz is now on the air. Your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Hello again, everyone, and good Tuesday afternoon. Welcome into the latest edition of the Auburn Blitz. I am Andy Graham. Alongside Randy Lee, we'll be with you for the next hour, as always, taking your comments, taking your phone calls, talking about everything going on in the world of Auburn athletics. We'll get to some of the more unanswered questions that we were talking about yesterday about this Auburn football program as we move into 2022 in the upcoming season. SEC Media Days, less than a week away now, so obviously some of the questions will be answered. But to be perfectly honest, Auburn, not unlike a lot of the teams in the SEC, won't know the answer to a lot of the questions until fall practice, because that's when they're going to be answered. Like, who will be the starting quarterback? We can guess, we can say, but until they actually get out there and compete and the coaches monitor that situation, we won't know until probably at least a little bit into fall practice. So, but anyway, nonetheless, there are some unanswered questions that are kind of make me a little nervous, to be perfectly honest with you, but we will try to answer some of those. We'll look at some of the ones we didn't get to yesterday. Love to get Randy's thoughts on this, as he always brings a fresh approach to the Auburn Blitz, and we appreciate him being with us today, as always. Some other things to talk about as well. Auburn hires a GM and a kind of director of recruiting. They have really beefed up the off-the-field staff under Brian Harsin. This is one of those things. My immediate thought is, and this is where we'll start today, but my immediate thought is, great. This is the way of the future. This is what all the big-time programs have been doing, especially in the SEC here as of late, building up these enormous off-the-field staff, because as far as I know, there's no real limitation to what you can have. But the more smart, quality, hardworking people that you have in these areas, the better it's got to be. And Brian Harsin took a lot of flack, and rightly so, for the recruiting aspect. Maybe came in a little unprepared, didn't really know what he was getting into. But after that first year and after everything that has happened, he said, look, I learned my lesson, and by every estimation, he has made some big changes. His attitude, he's built up this staff and everything. My only thing is now, is everybody going to be – this stuff's not going to change overnight. So does everybody have the patience to let and trust that this is going to pay big dividends 2, 3, 4 years down the road?
Well, I think that as long as he puts together a decent class this year, the problem area is not are you going to be a top 5 class. Problem is you can't be a 45th ranked class at Auburn. And I don't think that we will be, don't get me wrong, but I think that if signs are pointing to getting better, which they are right now, then I think that all the help that he can get, and I'll kick it to you, but I get the feel that he's taking all the options that he has available to him. Whatever the budget will hold, he's taking advantage of it, whereas it felt a little bit stubborn-headed when he came in. I'm going to do it my way. Get on board. Watch out. This is who Auburn's going to be, and y'all brought me in here. You wanted to change up the culture and the dynamic, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Whereas now, 1 year into it, it's like, yeah, I think I might need a little help.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people would go and say, man, this just does not resemble the college football that I grew up loving. Well, neither does it mine or yours. But it is what it is. And whatever wins some of these recruiting battles is what I'm for right now. And it can't hurt to go out there and get someone that's their role. Because it's got to get harder and harder to expect coaches to do what they're expected to do on the field and to get out and do all of the recruiting themselves.
Yeah, my times have changed.
Yes.
And it was a much smaller world back in those days. So a coach could take on a little bit more responsibility. I mean, they were, it used to. I mean, it was commonplace, and this is 3 or 4 years ago, or maybe a little bit more than that now, 5 or 10 years ago, certainly. But you had one guy designated on the staff that was your director of recruiting, or something. And I don't know. I mean, but apparently, I think probably a lot went into that job. I think Joe Witt, kind of served as that. He kind of oversaw all the recruiting for Auburn for many, many years. So now that's broken up, and again, it is a bigger world now. There's so much more sophistication to it, and there's so much more responsibility for these individual assistant coaches. You need an off-the-field staff like that. And it's not just graduate assistants anymore. It's guys that, like you say, you bring in specifically to do a role. Ergo, Drew Fabianich, who was a scout for the last 18 years for the Dallas Cowboys, a guy that made his living for nearly 20 years finding, observing, evaluating, seeking out, and processing talent. That's it. That was his role. That's what he done. If anybody would be any good at it, you would think he would be at this point. So what is a general manager role? I don't know. But he's got quite a title. General manager and in addition to director of scouting and development. So, I mean, you've got a lot of pieces. You've got a lot of guys working. Now he's kind of, I guess, going to be the, manager of all this, director of all this, in charge of all this, telling these guys, this is what we're doing, this is our strategy, here, so. And plus, it never hurts to have a guy who's got 20 years worth of contacts in the NFL when your whole pitch is, come to Auburn, we will develop you, and we will get you to the NFL.
Well, and I think that's the role that he wants. He doesn't want to be a head football coach at Auburn University at some point in time. Whereas all of those assistant coaches, I have to guess that their aspirations are to be that at some point. So you do learn things that you probably wouldn't learn if you had all of these other responsibilities thrown at you. So I think that it's a good hire, and I think you'll see a lot more colleges going in that direction. I think one of the keys is I'll go to a position of interest for Auburn moving forward that we've been talking about for a decade, the offensive line. A general manager, I would hope, would go and say, you know what, we haven't done a very good job of this the last couple of years. But here's our plan. Here's our process. Here's who we want. Here's who we're going to be. I see a general manager, and maybe you expect a head coach to do that, but I would see a general manager really doing a good job with something like that, whereas, you've got your whiteboard, here's our depth chart, here's who we're going to lose, here's who's got a good chance of transferring on because they're not getting the playing time that they expect. All of those things are changing daily, but they have changed drastically over the last 3 years. That you got to play that game, and you got to play that number a lot different than we played even a decade ago. And so hopefully his background helps Auburn. We need it.
Fabianich will work as a scout in recruiting and in the transfer portal.
Oh, well, that's part of it.
Along with scouting Auburn's opponents. So, I mean, look, like you said, I mean, I think everybody, a head coach, everybody on that staff, everybody at Auburn, the cheerleaders know at Auburn that we have not recruited offensive linemen well.
Yes.
Everybody knows that's the problem. However, it's been going on for a while, and so either there's some kind of messaging getting lost, or the things that we have tried have failed miserably. So the general manager comes in, everybody knows the problem. Buddy, it's your job. We're paying you a lot of money. Fix it. Tell us how to fix it. Tell us what to do step by step so we can fix this problem and put it into action.
Tell us who the options are out there. Is there an option at, say, Kentucky that fits? And Kentucky may not be a good example now, but let's say there's an option at Vanderbilt that would fix a hole that we have that's a better option than going out there on the high school market and finding a kid. Unfortunately, I think the transfer portal in the short term for a high school kid is going to make it tougher and tougher for you to get picked outright to end up at a university. I think more times than not, you're going to have to start at a lower classification, kind of hope that you work your way up, because people are not going to be able to take the risk that they have with an 18-year-old kid. It's a lot less of a risk to go out there and get a redshirt sophomore that started for 1 year for a school like Memphis that has proven their worth, and you have seen with your own eyes against college opposition the way that they play. And so do you know how big of a role that would be now? I mean, when you're out there recruiting every college and every high school,
Yeah.
which if you're doing it right, you are recruiting every college. Every player that's out there is a potential player of interest for you. And man, that's got to quadruple the percentage or the number of kids that you're having to look through to decide who you want to add to next year's group. Wow.
It's a big job. It's a needed job, and hopefully it will be a job well done by Mr. Drew Fabianich. New position, never been in this position at all before, so maybe it'll make a difference. We hope that it will. Against our first break here on the Auburn Blitz, we'll be back with more. Take your comments and your phone calls right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours. Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
At Glenn Smith in Opelika, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary. Check out these Hot July offers on powerful full-size Chevy and GMC trucks. The Chevy Silverado discounted up to $6,500 off. Or the GMC Sierra $5,000 off. Plus, get financing as low as 0% on several models. New inventory is arriving daily.
We have over 200 new and used vehicles on the ground or on the way. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Andy and Randy here with you. About 45 more minutes left in today's program. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us today. Brought to you each and every day by Mortgage Pro. The Eric McKinley team, saving people thousands of dollars on their home mortgages each and every year. Give them a call today, 256-397-0248. 256-397-0248. Interest rates are going up, and I have a sneaking suspicion they're going to continue to go up. So better get in on it while you can, 256-397-0248. Chauncey Tuck says, Coach Philip Lolly was a big help back in the day. He had kind of served in that kind of role, being a liaison with high schools and you know, stuff like that. He says even when Coach Martin went to Alabama, he had already established relationships with the in-state recruits, talking about Lolly. And Willie Carl Martin did a fantastic job with that with Alabama in his role. Tuck says also this role can be the bridge between high school, NIL, and college, and to also help with the transfer portal students. So kind of backing up what we were talking about.
Well, all of the above. Gosh, it's almost like you've got a budget to work with. Or you've got to go out there and figure out how to add to that budget. That's where the NIL is right now. I don't know if you watched yesterday with Nick Brahms, but Nick Brahms goes to social media and he's saying, Auburn fans, go out there, join this. This is where the NIL can help us, and it helps all of our players. And it's not only, the GM's role or the coach's role or Bruce Pearl's role to let everyone know. Now it's the player's role.
Yeah.
To let everyone know exactly. And I think there's so many of us that don't really understand how all of this works. I have Scott Hardy sit up here who's a little bit more intermingled with the inner workings of how all of that works than any of us are. And when he starts talking, I'm like, he's over my head the moment his mouth opens because of the way that it works, and say what Jason Campbell's role is and what that grouping package is and how that works when, say, someone wants representation at X or a commercial for X. How the group, like Jason Campbell in the group, can say, well, this is worth X and not this. So don't take $1,000 when it's worth $10,000 on the open market, and that's so hard, Andy. So it's a big, humongous business being put together in a short period of time.
Yeah, no question about that, for sure. We'll see how. Again, will Auburn be patient enough? Can you win enough games and recruit? Will this make a difference in this year's recruiting class? Probably not. So this late, but
that's the problem.
Next year, the year after. I mean, are you patient enough to see everything in place, the parts and the pieces being put together, and start to see the picture that the puzzle is looking like, and thinking, oh, I kind of like that picture. I'm willing to kind of wait a little. I'm willing to be a little bit more patient and see that this he knows what he's doing. This is going to work out. I don't know if that happens. We'll see.
Well, we said that for many, many years with the Bruce Pearl. What was it, 4 years? And
two losing seasons and one mediocre year.
And you did get a sense, though, by watching what was going on with the recruiting, that things were going to turn. There were players that weren't interested in us pre-Bruce Pearl that were interested in us now. And now it's nowhere near to the level that it is now after he's won the way that he has. But nonetheless, you could see signs pointing to that. So I think Auburn fans, and I don't know, I'll push this to each of you out there, I'm more braced for a 6 or 7 win season with all signs pointing to solid recruiting years moving forward than I am for a 8-win year and ho-hum in the recruiting battles that we have here in this state and around this conference. We got to start winning our fair share. I mean, we want to beat Georgia and Alabama on the road, one more time in my lifetime. Yes, we can still beat them at Jordan-Hare. That's a special place, and a lot of us are the reason it's a special place. It's got a special atmosphere, and we've proven that we can beat those teams. Should have last year when we have no right in beating them when you're looking from talent to talent. But we do. But I would like to go on the road to Athens and win another ball game.
Be nice.
I would like to go to Tuscaloosa and win a game and not feel like it was a fluke again in this lifetime. The only way to do that is to recruit to their level.
Yeah.
And we're way behind right now, but you got to start winning some recruiting. Like the Russaw kid over at Carver, you got to win. You got to win more than your fair share of those. And when you win none of them, then that's a problem. So I think that Brian Harson's got to prove to all of us that he can win one of those battles and a few of those battles and then win half of those battles, and then we'll be back to where we were in the 80s and 90s when we got this thing turned around.
So, number 1 running back, number 1 wide receiver in this state. That's a start.
Yes.
But it's not. I mean, it's a start. But we still got a ways to go.
It's a start. It's a special group in this state. We've said that over and over again. So being the 15th ranked recruit in the state of Alabama this year is totally different than being the 15th ranked recruit when there's only 12 4-stars in the state, which is a norm here. And this year we got double. We've got double the amount of 4- and 5-star athletes in this state. So, yes, I think that is important. And they do match players that we've had success with in the past. But again, you got to win the biggest battles. The Peter Woods of the world's got to come over and say, you know what, I got a lot of trust in Brian Harsin, rather than going over and saying, you know what, I think a lot of Dabo Swinney. And Dabo is more ingrained with what's going on in my culture and my age group than Nick Saban is. Until we start hearing that about Brian Harsin and not about Dabo Swinney, then I think we're going to keep having this discussion.
Unfortunately, you're probably right. We're up against another break here on the Auburn Blitz, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more right after this.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
Frontline Outfitters provides all your aftermarket parts for your cars, trucks, and as well as your professional tinting solutions for auto, residential, and commercial building. Frontline Outfitters also handles vinyl wraps, spray-in bed liners, truck accessories, LED lighting, paint correction and detailing, and much more. Make sure Frontline Outfitters of Alexander City is your first call for tinting and aftermarket solutions. Call us today, 256-409-8100.
The interstate is backed up this morning due to an accident.
So you don't like sitting still on the interstate? Get the free Algo traffic app. With Algo, you'll have the information you need to avoid problems on your route to work, to home, to the beach. Traffic backups, wrecks, lane closures, all with current info and live traffic camera feeds. Know before you go with Algo Traffic, ALGO Traffic from the Alabama Department of Transportation. Get it today and arrive on time.
Lake Martin Garage, located on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, has been serving our area since 1993. From routine maintenance such as oil changes, tune-ups, and rotating and balancing your tires, to transmission and engine repair, our trained and certified mechanics will get you back on the road better than before. Need a tow? With a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week towing service, Lake Martin Garage has local and long-range pickup. Trust your vehicle needs to the professionals at Lake Martin Garage. Call 256-825-6139, or better yet, stop in and see them today. Lake Martin Garage.
Russell Building Supply and Home Center is just around the corner in a brand new, convenient location with a wide selection of grills, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. The new store offers more home improvement items along with other helpful conveniences like a drive-through lumber yard and our Best Rewards program, making it an ideal destination for do-it-yourselfers and professional contractors. Get ready for game day on the plains by stocking up on all your Auburn tailgating gear at Russell Building Supply and Home Center.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Andy and Randy here with you for a few more segments left in today's show. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. We are brought to you each and every day by Big Fish Real Estate for all your real estate needs here in the Lake Martin area, as well as down there on the coast. Give them a call today, 551-BIG-FISH, or look them up, bigfishlakemartin.com. Randy, let's look at a couple of these unanswered questions that we didn't get a chance to get to yesterday. If I pose to you, who is the most important returning starter on offense and defense, who would you say it would?
Can I start on defense?
Of course.
Derek Hall.
Okay.
He's our best player. Maybe our best player on both sides of the ball. And we need him to be.
Yeah.
Physical, looks the part, plays hard, great leader, all of the above. Could
Appears
play
to be all in, too.
All in, could play for any other team in the SEC would like to have him. Not saying he'd start for all the other ones, but he'd and hey, that's hard to say for Auburn. Go down the list of players that Auburn has on the roster and try to count how many of those could start or get meaningful time for Alabama or Georgia. There's not many. There's only a handful. Derek Hall is one of them. So that one's an easy one for me. How about you defensively?
I think I would go probably Derek Call, or you could throw in a Colby Wooden, I guess, being that stalwart on the inside. He, again, if you're going to get pressure from the outside, it helps to have pressure from the inside. Because if we got to worry about that defensive tackle, then that opens up the edge rusher quite a bit. So, I think he's, one of the better players coming back. Offensively,
I mean, this
most
is
important returning starter.
the easiest answer. I mean, unfortunately for Auburn, this is easy both ways for me. Of course, it's Tank Bigsby. He is the lone returning starter for Auburn that I think could get meaningful time on either of those other two squads that I brought up. Can't name 2 or 3 other players on the offensive side of the ball that would get a snap at either of those other schools. That's a scary thing. Now, it does not mean that our offensive line can't be good. Our offensive line can be good this year because they've had so many snaps themselves.
Right.
So even though the talent pool is maybe not as high as we've had at other times at Auburn, this is a group that's got a lot of snaps and have played a lot of football and have had their moments where they've looked fairly good. So, but Tank Bigsby's the answer, and if I had to go to a second one, it'd be Nick Brahms. I think he's the best offensive lineman we have, and we need that group to be better than average. We need it to be above average, and he would be the leader there at the center position, and I thought he was the best one we had last year too.
Can I revise my defensive pick?
Sure.
Now? I'm going to say Owen Papo.
Okay.
I didn't think about him as a starter because he didn't start a whole lot last year.
Yes, he didn't play a lot.
He's got to play like a madman this year, to me, at the linebacker.
Do you think you're going to get that from him?
I think you can get 80 tackles.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to need that because we lost a tackling machine.
Oh, we lost a great football player.
And we lost a pretty good, solid guy in Chandler Wooten. So I'm like you. I think Cam Riley's got some potential. I'm Wesley Steiner. I think he's serviceable. Eugene Asante, I don't know what to expect from him or any of these other guys. So Papo there in the middle has got to get everybody lined up, and he's got to play like a madman, and he's got to stay healthy. So that's defense.
Somehow this happens in the Deep South, in the state of Alabama, that I'm about to say this. And how I'm about to say this, living where we live, is beyond me. But linebacker is our weakest position. It is the biggest concern that I have on this team, is the linebacker position. And if you can explain to me how we can live in Auburn, Alabama, surrounded by Bo's and Joes, I see them every Friday night. They're all over the place. And our depth at that position is scary. It's just not very good. It's not. I'm with you. I hope that we see some players step up that we definitely need to, but it is my biggest concern going into the year. That and wide receiver. But I think we've missed on some wide receivers, and we've had some personalities that didn't mesh with the new coaching staff, and that's caused some of the issues there. For the most part, I think we've just missed on linebacker recruits. I mean, who have we had fall off that we thought was going to be a very good player for us? Anybody?
No.
Well, that means you just
we lost one guy. Who was I can't even remember his name.
We lost the guy. I think he played at Muscle Shoals High School.
Okay.
And I think he came in, but I think his last name was Marsh.
No, Josh Marsh.
Yeah. I mean,
there was another guy that I can't remember, El Toro. I remember him being real high on him, and he thought he was going to be. He thought he had the potential to be really, really good.
He was the kid from Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't find it.
Michael Harris.
Michael Harris. There it is. Thank you. But he didn't. I think it was more of a mental thing for him. It wasn't physical. So, but sometimes you miss like that. That's part of it too.
Well, it's part of it, but if I'm living in Washington State and I miss on an offensive lineman, well, in my backyard, there's some Samoans and stuff around, but I'm serious. There's not as many Bo's and Joes for you to go pick from.
Sure.
You live in the state of Alabama, surrounded by the states that we're surrounded with, and you're sitting here questioning linebacker.
Well, what did we say? We had this conversation 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And what was the problem? And then we brought in a guy named Travis Williams. And that all changed.
Yes.
For about 7 years. And now we're right back to the same problem. Why is that, Randy, do you think?
Well, it's recruiting.
Was Travis just that good?
Yes. I do think he's that good. Absolutely, 100. If he ended up being head coach at Auburn University at some point, I'd be happy about it.
There's no question. I give him the credit for bringing in and changing our mentality and changing our philosophy and changing our whole linebacker room.
Yes.
And again, now, we got a new guy in there now. What will he do?
We'll see. He's going to have to prove it.
Up against another break here. Don't go anywhere. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
Lake Martin has a new car buying experience. It's the TR Group of Alex City on Cherokee Road. The TR Group has up to 100 late model vehicles to choose from and will not be beat on price, selection, or financing. With the TR Group, your selection and quality is easy and your good credit is rewarded. But we offer guaranteed financing on our inventory because your future is more important than your past. The TR Group, Lake Martin's new standard in auto sales. Located at 814 Cherokee Road, Alex City, USA.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Whether you prefer bricks, clicks, or taps, there's one place built around all your needs. For whatever it is you want to do. Even if your needs change, we'll be right there with you, making it all possible. Because you never know when a new addition will come along. So walk in, log on, or tap away. Either way, Valley's built to help you do you. Wherever life takes you, we'll be right there with you.
Hey guys, this is Nate Paz with Airport Motors.
I'm Connor Branch with Fairway Auto Brokers in Opelika, Alabama.
And this is your first ever Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz.
That's right, Lake Martin. Airport Motors and Fairway Auto Brokers is teaming up for the very first Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz. Make sure to check out either website for the very best selection of pre-owned luxury trucks, SUVs, and sedans in East Alabama. Get pre-approved in minutes online and make sure to use the keyword Summer Blitz in the comments section for $500 off internet price. That's keyword Summer Blitz.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce. Because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
Hey, this is Doug Roberts, long-term resident of Alexander City. I sold my house with Century 21 Lake Area Realty because all my life I had heard that to sell a house, you need three things: location, location, location. I found out there's actually four. You need location, 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 and Rhonda Gaskins at Century 21 Lake Area Realty to sell your house fast.
Call me today and let me go to work for you. 256-749-3644.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Brubaker Motors in Montgomery is the largest and fastest growing used car dealership in the River region. You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker. It's better at Brubaker.com.
Brubaker, 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 Brubaker.
You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker.
BREWBAKER. BREWBAKER.com.
It's better at Brubaker.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Andy and Randy here with you. Just a couple more segments left in today's show, brought to you each and every day by Russell Do-It Center. They got 10 locations around central Alabama for all your building supply, home decor, tools, whatever it might be. Go and check out Russell Do-It Center today. We are looking at some unanswered questions about the Auburn Tigers in 2022. As far as most important returning starter, I'm going to say whoever starts at left tackle and right tackle. I feel good about the interior. I mean, we got 4 or 5 guys plus Nick Brahms there, including Nick Brahms there in the middle, center, and the guards. I feel fine. But the tackles, somewhere between Austin Troxell, Killian Zaire, Brendan Coffey, Alec Jackson, I guess he's played tackle, and some younger guys, Colby Smith and Garner Langlow. Somebody better be really good at those positions. And if they're not, then we're going to do the same struggles that we've always had.
You think any of them are?
I think Killian Zaire actually has I think he could be good if he's healthy. And I think he started to get healthy last year, and he made a push late. So I don't know anything about Garner Langlow or Colby Smith, the young guys. Maybe they're good, maybe they're not. Brendan Coffey, I mean, he's had opportunities, but
I think he and Troxell.
He's gotten it. Troxell's got probably the most talent out of any of them, but he's only, third or fourth knee surgery. He's just only so much a human body can take.
I think they remind me a lot of each other. They're serviceable. But in this league,
you need more than serviceable.
You need more than serviceable, and it goes back to that linebacker discussion we just had. You need more than serviceable. And when you only got one guy that you go, that's a dog right there. The rest of them, I mean, I hope they're okay. And unfortunately, that's where we stand with those two positions of need. And I think that's where we stand at the receiving corps, too. So can Shed Jackson take a step up from where he was last year? Because there's no doubt he took a massive step from the year before to last year. He was our best receiver last year. Had some drop balls, but was open a lot, looked physical out there, looked the part. And I see more of him working with Zach Calzada and others than I even hear of others. So hopefully he's putting the effort forward, and I think that he is. So that's a positive, but the rest of that receiving group, how many of them are Alabama or Georgia guys?
One of them played at LSU.
And he never even, what, he have about 6 catches the whole time he was there?
Something like that. So, you got to transfer from Miami, Dazzler Morsham.
Yeah,
he was all-time leading receiver at Trussville.
Yeah,
that's nothing to sneeze at.
No, and he was long, and I think that he is a good player. I just don't think he's a dynamic player.
Omari Kelly, can he be a dynamic player as a freshman?
The people that have seen him say that. I didn't see a lot of him. I'll be honest. I've never had Hewitt make it to the point of where we broadcasted one of their games, but I heard a lot about him.
Yeah.
And talked to a Hewitt guy at length about him, who thinks from an athleticism standpoint that he can be. So we'll see. I mean, all of them fit the mold, but you just don't know. And it also helps when you have a system and a quarterback that helps the receivers out. And unfortunately for Auburn, we haven't had the system or the quarterback to help these guys look a little bit better than others would. Even with Bo Nix, who a lot of us liked, I don't think any of us would call him pinpoint accurate.
No, I don't think anybody ever confused him with pinpoint accuracy. About most important non-returning starter, this is a guy that played as a backup and came in and may have played a lot, but didn't start, but has to step up big time this year. Let's start with the defense.
Oh, you were going to make me start with the defense. Let me start with offense.
Start with offense.
Landon King.
Okay.
I really like him. Long, yes, can be listed as a semi-tight end, but he's more of a a slot tight end receiver, big body. Need to find a way to see if he is an athlete that can separate himself from the rest of the receiving core for Auburn, because I think the ceiling for him is higher than anyone else that we have at the receiving core. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So I'm going to say Landon King offensively. How about you?
I'm going to go back to – I'm going to say Killian Zaire.
Okay.
I think if he can take hold of the left tackle position and be a man there and be healthy and be good, not just serviceable but good, then it changes the dynamics of the offense. I think that gives us so much more flexibility that you can rely on. Zach Calzada doesn't have to worry about getting killed from behind every play. I think it just breeds confidence and it'll help everybody out. I think Mr. Zaire from Germany, with his 2-3 years of football. Why do we always have these projects too? That's the only thing. We get these guys that, he's phenomenal. He's only played football for a year, but off the charts athletically. It'll take him. By the time he's a 6-year senior, he ought to be really good.
Because we can't win the battles with the top guys. So we have to take a guy that, yes, they saw the athleticism, but they weren't willing to deal with the project. And unfortunately, that's where we've been. Cam Riley on defense. Boy, if he's not good, we're in trouble. He better be really good. Great size, athleticism, kind of goes back to those late 90s, early 2000 linebackers that Auburn has from a size standpoint. No, I'm not going to compare him to Carlos Dansby and some of those others, but he does look like those guys. 6'3",
body type,
body type and long arms, and hopefully an ability to get out and play a little pass defense. That's so important in today's game. So we'll see. He's the need.
Yeah. I'll throw out there Zacchaeus Walker. The guy looks like a monster. It's about time he started playing like one. On the defensive line, if he could step up and be, the kind of player that he was recruited to be, then, you could have 3 legitimate interior defensive linemen that, you can't have enough really, really good defensive linemen. That change there again, if you got a really strong defensive line, it helps the linebackers, it helps the secondary, it helps everybody. It makes it so much easier to play defense. So, We'll run down maybe a couple more of these, but we got to go to break. Don't go anywhere. More to come right after this.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare. Serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
Need that boost to get you started in the morning or help get you through a long day at the office? Alex City Nutrition is your answer. Alex City Nutrition, located on 2nd Broad Street in downtown Alex City, offers meal replacement shakes, post-workout shakes, extreme rebuild products, and a vast array of loaded teas that offer focus, energy, and build up your immunity and overall health. Want to buy in bulk? We now offer your favorite flavors by the gallon. Come by Alex City Nutrition today or call 256-496-8284 to begin your journey to great health.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz final segment on today's show. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. To close things out here, Ty says, I think our receivers will be good if TJ or Zach can get the ball to them. I think the most important starter is Tank Bigsby or Anders Carlson if healthy. And Jim kind of echoes that. Jim says, Andy, do you believe the kicking game is in good hands? If Auburn wins more than 5 games this year, they will be close games with the kicking game playing a big role in the outcome. And Ruben Peaches Yeldon Quanjo Pickens says, what if TJ Finley runs out there for the first snap?
I don't have any confidence.
I think a lot of people will. Well, I think people depends on what happens on the first drive. If it's a pick six, I think people are walking out.
Do you?
I would be disappointed. But, I mean, it's not – I mean, they're going to name a starter before the first game.
Yes.
So
now,
I know that going in.
I can't see it. I may be missing.
Oof.
You know, the good thing about Carlson this year is he's got a guy coming in that's a freshman. Mm-hmm. I think was the #1 kicker in the country out of Fort Payne.
Alex
McPherson, and he better be good.
His brother was really, really good at Florida.
Yep.
And he's kicking in the NFL now.
Well, it's my point. You know, when you've got a backup, you better be good.
Yeah. And Carlson struggled a little bit.
He did. He was just not as consistent. He's very, very talented, as talented as his other brothers. Just maybe had the yips a little bit. We'll see. But I do like that. I do agree with you, Jim, that I think the kicking game is going to be uber important. And Auburn's punting game has been great.
Mm-hmm. Oscar Chapman.
Yeah, the way that we've gone to that differing Australian look at punter has worked out really well for us, so I would expect nothing different this year.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. I like, the fact, I feel comfortable with Carlson coming back from a knee injury, but I'm with you. If he struggles, watch for the kid to come in and get his opportunity as a true freshman. And if that happens, he may set some records at Auburn. We'll see.
Well, you think that if you're a special kicker, when you get your chance, they're not going to miss much.
Right.
A special one they don't miss very often. And once he does get an opportunity, if he is what he's been sold to be, and he doesn't miss, he won't be coming back out. Doesn't matter what the talent level is behind you. So, I've heard and seen a lot out of him over the last few years at Fort Payne. So I'm excited to have him at Auburn.
Strong leg.
Yes.
For a small guy, not a big guy, 150 pounds. I mean, he can wallow. I mean, we're talking 65 yards.
Isn't it crazy how these families, I guess, get it down to a science, and then they just work one brother through after another?
That's true.
I mean, Auburn's taking advantage of that with Carlson, and now with the McPherson. And McPherson had a brother at Florida that was special. So I remember back in the day, I remember Tennessee having a whole bunch of punters from the same family. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Colquitt.
Yeah, the Colquitt brothers.
And so it
looked much like the Clausen brothers that went through Tennessee as well.
I think they were a little better than the Clausen brothers.
I think you're probably right.
But yeah, it's interesting to see in the kicking game how that works out.
Yeah. All right, Jim Von Lyle and Win Lyle not related.
They're not.
It is July the 12th. On this day, 1949, the warning track was born. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, decapitation of many heads probably running through outfield walls, so it was smart.
That was very smart. A 1979 disco demolition night at Comiskey Park. Who would have thought something like this could get out of hand? You bring your disco records, and they literally were going to blow them up in between the first and second game of a doubleheader. The fans got a little unruly, destroying their disco records because they hated disco just that much. And it got out of hand. The fans stormed the field. They had to cancel. They had to forfeit the second game of the doubleheader against the Tigers. And so thus ended the first and only disco demolition night.
Probably a good thing.
Probably a good thing. You're not a disco fan, are you?
No.
No. Okay.
Not Disco Duck or none of that stuff.
I owned the Disco Duck record.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy birthday today, Milton Burl, Uncle Milty.
Mm-hmm.
Lived to a ripe old age of 94, born on this day, 1908. Curly Joe DeRita, he replaced Shemp, who died suddenly of a heart attack in 1955. And then Joe Besser, I think, took over, and he was okay. But then they called him Curly Joe because he was kind of a fat guy, and he shaved his head, so he kind of looked like Curly. They were trying to replace him, but anyway.
He wasn't as good as the
original.
He
wasn't as good as the original.
No, I'm sorry to the family out there.
No, that's right. Bill Cosby, born on this day, 1937. Did you watch the Cosby Show when you were a kid?
Loved the Cosby
Loved
Show.
it. Loved
One
it.
of my
Great
favorite
show.
episodes is Bill in there with Theo, and he's giving him the Monopoly money, and Theo's ready to move out and be out on his own, and he's asking how much rent and all of this goes, and it's one of the best scenes that's ever been in television. And I hate that we've had to watch what's happened to Bill Cosby.
Yeah, Bill Cosby, great actor, funny guy, alleged rapist, and really convicted rapist, to be perfectly honest. Got out on a technicality, not because it was the overturning of the evidence. But nonetheless, yeah, it is sad, 1937. Paul Silas, Hall of Fame basketball player, 1943. Christine McVie.
Yeah.
From
Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac, of course, 1943. Rick Hendrick, you're a big NASCAR fan, right?
No.
He won 7 titles as an owner. Cheryl Ladd, one of the original Charlie's Angels.
You probably had a poster.
I did not, but I might get one today, to be honest with you. Julio Cesar Chavez, champion in 3 different divisions.
Yeah.
Robin Wilson, Jim Blossoms. Hey, Jealousy.
Yeah, I know the song.
Allison Rowe.
Yeah.
No. Robert Allenby. How about Christy Yamaguchi?
Yeah.
Figure
Great
skater.
athlete, yeah.
Gold medal winner. Brock Lesnar, Topher Grace, and Michelle Rodriguez.
Can't help you with the last one.
She was in Lost. He's in those Fast and Furious movies.
Don't watch that.
I never seen one, but anyway. We got to go. He's Randy. I'm Andy. So long for now, everybody. We'll talk again soon.